I have the pleasure of welcoming Dr. Bola Akindele. He's the alumnus of Lagos Business School, London Business School, and INSEAD Fontainebleau.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this session. And it's been great listening to Ese and Torolake. Like I told myself and both of you at the beginning, Ese and Kid, it's for me to come and learn. I'm just a lowly remunerated business entrepreneur from Nigeria. I've tried to be one, a continental entrepreneur. I have tried to be. It's been impossible. I've tried to go global. I've found more outside the continent, far away in the Caribbean, than I have been given or been shown by my brothers and sisters in Africa. So we've had two presentations, and one is from the policy analysis level by Ese, who has taken us through what the whole program is all about, what the whole agreement is supposed to do, what the benefits, obvious benefits are. Yeah, of course, the few potential hiccups that may be there that we need to look at. But I promised myself and I promised you, the organizers, that I was going to come and talk as a business person, as an entrepreneur. That's all it is. So I'm going to probably be mostly towing the lines of what of the caution that Rolake has she's done. One, because I've experienced the African business, terrain. I have experienced it firsthand, personally and at the corporate level. And my training also includes being, apart from being a banker and all that, I'm also a trained auditor. I'm a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. I'm 31 or 32 years old in that profession. So I tend, as an auditor, I am trained to actually look out for loopholes in processes and in procedures. So when I see an opportunity to speak, I won't talk for long because I don't have much to say. Not like the other two presenters; they are brilliant, analysts, and they've done a lot of work in this area. Not unlike me. Now, I want to appeal to be allowed to just throw up some of the issues that I know that we need to, to consider. I am a Nigerian. I have tried to be an African, like I said. It's not worked very well for me, and I'm talking about as a business. So I will raise the issue of fact that the merits have been very clearly enumerated. We all know what it should be, what it could be. And that is totally different from what probably will be. What it will be. Why? Because somehow in the whole of this analysis, including the policy formulation, including the beginnings of setting up this whole trade agreement and pushing it out. I don't know. I've not studied the history for too long. I don't know how long it took from the beginning of the planning to the end of it. What I know is that somehow the whole process has ignored one factor, one critical factor. And I think Rolake kind of touched on it. We seem to have forgotten the nature, the intrinsic nature of the African man or woman. The nationalistic interest in almost everything that we do. And the nationalism is not just about the country borders. It's about where we are. We can see everything like that in Nigeria, and I'm sure it happens in all these other countries as well. And we seem to have ignored that. In bringing up this whole program and the policy, everything has been assumed to be at standard, STP, as we used to say in science. All right? Nothing has been included in adjusting for the potential disruptions that will be caused by the fact that by nature in Africa, we are just not united. We are not one. Mostly it's undocumented. These are policies that are undocumented, that are not, put down on paper anywhere. Or you leave these policies through the people that you engage, where you cross your borders, and the government that try to engage you. Now, we just need to look at how successful sub-regional alliances have gone. Sub-regional trade agreements that have been set for decades have gone. In Nigeria here, I'm in Nigeria for everybody to know already. We have ECOWAS. We have the one of the East African network. We have the South African, we have the Arabs see themselves more as Mediterranean than Africans anyways. And it is only when something is supposed to come, that's my opinion, please. It's only when something is supposed to come out and benefit everybody that they actually identify. That's my opinion with us. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the most successful, if you can consider it that at all, of any of the regional, sub-regional arrangements has been the one that I've seen in East Africa. That's what it is. ECOWAS is supposed to be what we've been part of for the past 30, 40 years or so, if I remember correctly. How have we fared? How have we fared? We still have the issue of some of us are Anglophone, some of us are Francophones, and the dichotomy is so palpable, so clear. You don't have to be a businessman to attempt to, to try and get a sense of it. I've experienced it at every point in trying to deal across this sub-region. I have tried to cross borders into the so-called Anglophone parts of West Africa. It's the same unwritten rule. The Nigerians are aggressive. Nigerians are, there is a whole lot of description that can be given to what the Nigerian business person is. Maybe it is our fault, maybe it is not. But we just love to be very entrepreneurial in all we do. And we are talking about this agreement. Let me go back to the fact that whenever you have to trade, you have to put in place a trade agreement or a system that is supposed to allow, the free factors of production that we learned in elementary economics, land, labor, land, capital, and entrepreneurship as the tortoise, to flow seamlessly across the regions. It should be one body, one unit, entity. You want to look at the fact that as much as these have become very mobile, each one of these have become very mobile, including everything that's gone mobile. That is why you will have, entities like the UAE, like the Emirates, like America, like Europe, like European countries, like Russia, coming to buy and own agricultural land in Africa, and everything. They come and buy land, agricultural mining land, and they extract what they want to extract. And I see the fact that as much as the papers have been put together, everybody has been, in my own opinion, reloaded. All countries have been reloaded into sign. I think the thought process that went into making us, at least the entrepreneurs in Nigeria, the small ones, you have identified some of the big ones. They get to determine to a large extent the policy direction of what government comes with. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria remains the largest economy in terms of GDP in Africa. It was not, in my opinion, something that we work purposefully towards as a nation. It wasn't something that we said the government of Nigeria packaged, strategized, and worked towards. God has been kind. We found ourselves in that situation because Nigerians by nature are very entrepreneurial. We work very hard at whatever it is. No matter how good or bad it is, we work very hard at being the best, at being very good at it. And suddenly we found ourselves in that situation, suddenly after the rebasing of the old GDP calculation. And now we want to also ignore the fact that has kind of placed somewhat, in addition to the ordinary perception that Nigerians and Nigerian businessmen and Nigerian businesses are likely sharks and they are coming in to take over and to ruin economies and to go and change the way we do things. We are adding to that a very large targets has been placed on our backs as a nation. And my government has kind of ignored that in coming up with this idea of, oh, okay, we can now sign. When they did not sign, I was waiting on the government to say, when they did not sign, I was waiting on the government to say that, look, okay, maybe we should invite maybe more critical stakeholders into this discussion. I'm a small producer. I don't produce. I'm not a manufacturer. I provide services. Services. It's not like I have to go and start renting, buying land and buying equipment and all that machinery. And we want to determine when it's best to have joined this or to do this. Let us ask ourselves, how ready are the players? But let me focus on Nigeria. How ready are we? I was reading recently that in terms of readiness for the fit for purpose and customs facilities to be able to facilitate this agreement, only 3 countries so far in Africa have passed the test of aligning with the 3 terms of the agreement. And the countries are Ghana. Ghana is the secretariat. And you have South Africa. And you have Egypt. And Ghana even has started itself as having lifted or have freighted the first consignment. I would be very interested in knowing where to what destination. Let us learn. What have they been able to do? My government in Nigeria has not prepared. It's not prepared. It will probably not be prepared over the next number of years to avoid the exposure of the local business, local enterprise. Small people like us, the SMEs, that should be the key stakeholders here, they haven't prepared enough to protect the system. We're going to, for me, we're going to have to suffer the lack of readiness of the Nigerian, space in this area when people have started. We still don't have anything in place to allow us to say, okay, we want to also be able to do the same thing. Rolaka's experience in terms of traveling across, some of the countries in West Africa is interesting. Or if you try to travel across Lagos to maybe Cote d'Ivoire, or just attempt to be there, you will find out how disparate these so-called interests are, how divergent. If you are not French, you can't be French. And when you talk to them about policies, about things we need to do, then they have to refer to Paris to get directives. And this is the same economy. Look at ECOWAS. A simple thing, a simple issue at that brown card, insurance card to travel across. I remember in 2009, 2008, I was invited by the Secretariat of ECOWAS in Abuja to come and present, a solution that I had to facilitate the ease of doing that across the West African region. Of course, the intro was done by the Nigerian version of the office of ECOWAS. And we went there, showed them what we could do. And it was right there and then, knock on wood, approved to say, oh, this is what we need. This is a company that has everything that we need. We have the database, we have everything that should be in place. And we were waiting to be called to come and deploy. They needed to go to, it was killed. I'm telling you from part, it was killed. The whole idea was killed at the headquarters in one of the Francophone countries of ECOWAS. It was killed. It was beaten to death right there. And it is something that will continue. It's something, hello? Am I still on?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
So now, I'm sorry to seem to be bringing up all these negative ideas, but I'll also come up with my own positive closing, as Rolaka did at the end of the day. And I won't be much longer now. Now, if we are not that ready, why did we have to be reloaded into signing immediately? You have to remember the fact that even when some of us thought it was in the best interest to close the border for certain reasons, some of the very big players got away with moving their stuff, things that the rest of us could not get to do. Why? Because they direct the policy, they dictate the policy directions of what our government does. Nigerian entrepreneurs will have to contend with what Rolake has talked about. And I think even as I mentioned it, the potential for dumping, the lack of competitiveness that we will face when standardization is not established for what you can bring in or take out. And everybody is supposed to be able to move across borders anyhow. We already have a very loose, we're not very, very loose, something not up to standard in terms of our customs and immigration system. But I've experienced the beauty of this working in the EU. I've experienced it, and I see that with the interest in the success of the whole unity of EU itself, it has made it possible for everyone in that whole zone to be able to take advantage of it. You have economies that have been hugged. In Africa, you have economies that have been hugged to the hilt, to the Chinese, owned, practically the whole nation is owned by the Chinese in depth. You think they're going to bring much value into an economy? Some of us are just going to suffer because we are Nigerians. Everybody gets to get away with everything from Nigeria. We get to pay for everybody. We are the big brother, but we are not supposed to be the dumb one. Now, remember that if we want to compare ourselves with EU actually, the plans for EU actually started around 1950, around 1951, 1952. And it took them 40 years of building the block, building it, before they came together and say we are EU in 1992, 93. They started with 5 countries: Belgium, France, Luxembourg, Italy, West Germany. And they grew over the period, allowing people to take their time in when they could join. Why did we have to rush into everybody? Only Eritrea has not signed. And I can understand their fears. Are we still, for them, maybe the thought is, are we already a nation that we can stand on our own before you go and allow ourselves to be swallowed again? You cannot rush into these kind of things. Stakeholder engagement was not enough. It was even a non-starter. We only heard that Nigeria was not signing, and then a few months after, Nigeria was going to sign. Does it benefit the whole of Nigerian entrepreneurs? Will it benefit the whole of Africa? Those are my fears. I believe as well, maybe not as optimistically as Rolake has been or was. I believe that this can work. I think that we should not, like proverbial puppy, in answering too many calls at the same time, break our own jaws. Let us be careful. The Nigerian government has to come back and do the right thing, just like maybe every other government, national government. They have to come back and do the right thing to ensure that we don't become enslaved, not to the Chinese or to the conglomerates, the local conglomerate here. I'm sure somewhere around the corner, the Chinese manufacturing system and all that, they are rubbing their hands together in glee, waiting for this to actually take root. Everything that they cannot sell anywhere else, that they already bring into economies in Africa, will then be spread, like I said, across the whole continent. You won't find the Chinese running riots all over Europe with their activities. You won't find them in America. You won't even find them in the Emirates. They get to be competitive in those places. They have to be, because there are standards. There are standards. But in Africa, there are no standards that we can. They have not established anything. The right of the origin is something that is very loose at this time. Rolake has explained it. If it comes into Ethiopia, if it comes into Kenya, it will get to Lagos. It will get to Ouagadougou. It will get anywhere freely, no matter the type or the standard or the quality of it. I want to ask that we engage the Nigerian government as other governments. Let us actually invite the key stakeholders. The LCCI most of the MAN in Nigeria are already, they're already, worried, and they are still, they are complaining about this is not what we believe that we are signing for. Let us listen to them. Listen to us, the small people. Thank you very much. And it's been great speaking to everybody. I hope I've not, reduced the quality of the discourse.
Not at all.
And I hope that...
Not at all. You have actually put it in context. What you are saying now is the agreement is there. Everyone has signed in, even though those who have been railroaded and all. However, for it to work for us, there are key things that Africa needs to do. Dr. Akindele is coming at it from the Nigerian lens. He has a very successful business in Nigeria. He has made his mark in Nigeria as a public and a private sector expert. So he knows what he's talking about. He has actually gone there, he's bought the t-shirt, so he knows where the loopholes are.